Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders soften. Just a little. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest where they naturally fall. You've made it here, to this quiet moment at the end of a long day. A day that may have carried its own storms, its own heaviness, its own silent battles inside your chest. But right now, none of those things are asking anything of you. You're simply here, listening, settling, arriving. Tonight's journey is titled Transform Your Mind. 12 Buddhist ways to hold yourself gently through depression. But for now, there is nothing you need to learn, nothing to remember, only a soft landing place, steady and warm, where your breath can slow down again. Let yourself notice the simple rhythm of breathing, the rise, the fall, the tiny pause between the two, like waves touching the shore and pulling back, again and again. Maybe you've been carrying a weight all day, something no one else sees. Maybe your mind has been moving too fast, or looping through old worries. Maybe you've been trying to hold yourself together for far too long. If so, breathe. You're allowed to rest now. Imagine you're sitting on a quiet porch, somewhere far from the noise of your day. The air is cool, touched with the scent of pine and the distant sound of a slow-moving river. There's a soft blanket around your shoulders and a warm light spilling from the house behind you. Everything feels familiar, like a place you once knew as a child. Simple, safe, untouched by the rush of the world. You listen to the wind brushing through the trees, steady and patient. The leaves flutter like small whispers, each one telling you that it's okay to settle, okay to stop trying so hard, okay to stop holding your breath. Somewhere inside, maybe there's been a quiet turbulence, a restlessness, a loneliness, a sense of being overwhelmed. Not a storm you wanted, not a storm you chose, just something that arrived. And perhaps you've been trying to pretend the sky inside you was clear when it really wasn't. But here, in this gentle moment, you don't need to pretend anything. You can let your inner sky be whatever it is. Cloudy, bright, heavy, open. You can simply let it be. Feel your breath move through your chest again. Notice how your ribs expand like the slow opening of a morning curtain. Notice how the exhale releases the tiniest bit of strain, as if your body knows how to unwind, even when the mind feels unsure. You're not alone in this. People all around the world end their day feeling tired, stretched thin, a little bit worn at the edges. Even the strongest hearts need soft places to land. Even the most capable minds need moments where the world asks nothing of them. Tonight, this space is that place for you. Maybe you picture a quiet town street at dusk, the kind where the streetlights glow with a warm amber hue, and you can hear crickets humming from far-off yards. Maybe you imagine a single candle on a bedside table, its flame steady and gentle, moving not with urgency, but with ease. Or maybe you see the moon hanging low above a calm lake, its reflection trembling slightly on the water, like a reminder that softness can still carry beauty. Wherever your mind wanders, let it wander slowly. Let it follow whatever image feels comforting, familiar, or kind. There is no wrong place to drift toward. There is only the quiet invitation to be here, fully, without rushing, without forcing yourself to feel any particular way. And if tonight your heart feels heavy, let it rest in your chest like a stone resting at the bottom of a river, still, grounded, and held by something larger than itself. You don't need to lift it. You don't need to fix anything right now. Just breathe with it. In a moment, we'll begin exploring the gentle paths that Buddhist wisdom offers. Ways to hold yourself with tenderness. Ways to move through difficult feelings with patience. Ways to meet the darker seasons of the mind with softness instead of pressure. But not yet. For now, simply settle into the warmth of this moment. Let the day drop away behind you, piece by piece. Feel the softness gathering in your breath, the thinning of the noise inside your thoughts. And before we go any deeper, I want to speak to you, not as a narrator, not as a teacher, but as someone who cares about the calm you're trying to find. If this space brings you comfort, if it helps your heart feel a little lighter, your breath a little deeper, I would be grateful if you subscribed. Not for numbers, not for growth, but because it lets you and me keep sharing these quiet moments together. It lets you return here whenever the world becomes too loud. And if you'd like to help me understand how this opening made you feel, just leave a simple comment. Type 1 if it felt soothing, or 2 if it didn't quite land for you. No explanations needed, just a small signal, a way to help me make this place gentler for you and for others. Now, take one more slow breath in, and an even slower breath out. Feel the calm beginning to rise around you, like a tide rolling in at night, covering the sand with cool, quiet water. And when you're ready, we'll begin the journey into the heart of these teachings. Softly, slowly, with the same tenderness you deserve to feel within yourself. Story 1. The Two Monks and the Young Woman. Told softly, slowly, like a bedtime story from an elderly Zen master. Long ago, two monks were traveling on foot through the countryside. The day had been warm, and by late afternoon, they reached a small river swollen from recent rain. The water rushed quickly, churning with a restless energy, the way the mind can churn when life feels heavy. As they approached the riverbank, they noticed a young woman standing nearby. She wore a simple dress, now damp at the edges. Her face carried worry. She needed to cross, but was afraid. The river was too strong, the current too unpredictable, and she hesitated the way we all do when life pulls us towards something overwhelming. The older monk looked at her with gentle eyes. Without a word, he lifted her in his arms, carried her across, and set her down safely on the other shore. She thanked him deeply, bowing with relief. Then the two monks continued their journey in silence. For many miles, only the sound of their sandals brushing against the dusty road could be heard. But inside the younger monk, something was building a tightness, a confusion, a quiet frustration he didn't know how to name. At last, unable to hold it in, he spoke. "Brother, you know we are not supposed to touch women. Why did you carry her?" The older monk walked a few more steps before answering, his voice soft as evening wind through tall grass. "I set her down on the river bank," he said. "But you have been carrying her all this time." The younger monk fell silent. The road stretched before them, calm and unhurried. Somewhere above, a bird crossed the darkening sky, drifting without effort. And in that moment, the younger monk felt his chest loosen. He realized he had been holding on to something long after the moment had passed. A worry, a judgment, a rule he clung to more tightly than his own breath. Perhaps you've felt that way too, carrying someone's words long after they were spoken, carrying a memory long after it ended, carrying an expectation, an argument, a regret holding it in your mind and heart, the way the younger monk held the woman long after she was gone. Consider how many invisible things we carry into the night. Old mistakes, conversations that keep replaying, feelings we didn't know what to do with at the time. We drag them with us, the way someone might drag a heavy suitcase up a long staircase. But sometimes, the weight is only in our hands because we forgot we could let it go. Imagine now that you're walking that same quiet country road with the monks. The evening air is cool. The sky is turning a deep blue-gray, the color of a soft blanket. Fireflies blink in the tall grass beside you. You might feel the ground beneath your feet beginning to steady. You might sense how the mind starts to unclench when the story slows down. Let yourself soften as you listen. The older monk's words echo gently in the night. "I set her down. Why are you still carrying her?" Maybe there's something you've been carrying today, a worry from work, a conversation that didn't sit well, a moment where you felt you weren't at your best. Perhaps you've been carrying doubts about tomorrow, or thoughts that return when the room gets quiet. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. As you breathe, imagine yourself setting something down on the riverbank. It doesn't have to disappear. It doesn't have to be solved. You're simply choosing not to carry it for a little while. Feel how the shoulders loosen when you release even one small thing. Feel the space inside your chest open just a little more. The road continues ahead, calm and patient. And you walk forward lighter. Now let your breath become softer, like the river growing quiet after rain. Let your thoughts drift the way fireflies drift across a summer field. Nothing to chase, nothing to hold. Just breathing, just resting, just letting the night carry you gently towards sleep. With each breath out, imagine setting down another stone, a small one, then another and another. The day is behind you now. The road is soft, the night is kind, and you are safe to rest. Let the body grow heavy, like a warm blanket settling around you. Let the mind grow still, like a calm river at dusk. And if a thought comes, gently set it down on the riverbank. You do not need to carry anything into sleep. Just breathe and drift and rest, like a traveler finally finding a quiet place to stop for the night. Whenever you're ready, allow yourself to sink into the sweetness of sleep, light, peaceful, and deeply held. Story 2. The Farmer's Luck. There was once an old farmer who lived in a quiet valley, surrounded by rolling fields and soft hills. His days were simple, tending crops, feeding animals, watching the seasons move across the land. The kind of life where each morning looked almost like the last, yet held its own quiet beauty. One day, his only horse ran away. Neighbors rushed to his door, shaking their heads, saying, "Oh, what terrible luck." The old farmer just smiled gently and said, "Maybe so, maybe not." Days passed, and the horse returned, this time with 2 wild horses beside it. Again the neighbors gathered, excited this time. "What wonderful luck," the farmer nodded softly. "Maybe so, maybe not." End quote. Later, the farmer's son tried riding one of the wild horses. The horse bucked, throwing him to the ground and breaking his leg. The neighbors came again, full of concern. Such bad luck. The farmer placed a warm cloth on his son's leg and said, "Maybe so, maybe not." A week later, soldiers marched through the valley, gathering every young man for war. When they saw the son's broken leg, they left him behind. The neighbors whispered, "Such good luck." 8. The farmer sat on his porch, looking out over the fields, and simply said, "Maybe so, maybe not." As you hear this, notice the way the story moves, like gentle waves coming to shore, rising, falling, rising again. A good moment, then a difficult one, then a blessing that only appears because of the hardship before it. Life often unfolds that way, especially for adults carrying jobs, families, bills, and silent worries. Some days feel heavy, some feel promising, most feel mixed, like weather shifting from sun to cloud. Perhaps you've had days where something went wrong at work, only to open a door you didn't see before, or moments where disappointment slowly revealed a hidden kindness, or nights when your worries felt sharp, only for morning to soften them. Life isn't done sculpting meaning from your experiences, not yet, and sometimes what feels like the end of the story is only the middle. So consider this for a moment. How often does the mind leap toward conclusions? How often does it label something as bad luck before the rest of the story has a chance to unfold? And how often does it cling tightly to the fears that rise in the quiet of night, those thoughts that twist and turn when you're trying to rest? Take a slow breath now, and a slow breath out, letting your shoulders loosen just a bit. Let yourself soften as the farmer's words echo gently through your mind. Maybe so, maybe not. You don't have to decide tonight whether today was good or bad, a blessing or a burden. You don't need to judge the shape of your path or the direction of tomorrow. You only need to rest, just rest. Imagine you're sitting on that old farmer's porch as evening settles over the valley. The wooden planks beneath you are warm from the fading sun. Crickets begin their soft chorus in the tall grass. Fireflies drift lazily in the darkening air, glowing like small lanterns that don't hurry anyone, don't demand anything. You might notice the scent of earth cooling after a long day. You might feel a gentle breeze brushing past your skin, carrying a hint of hay and distant pine. Everything is quiet, steady, and unhurried. Let the mind begin to move like those fireflies, slow, gentle, drifting. No sharp edges, no quick judgments, just soft wandering in the dusk. As you breathe, consider this. Not every worry needs to be answered tonight. Not every question needs to be solved. Some things can simply rest, untouched, like seeds beneath the soil held by the earth, waiting for their time. Let the breath deepen, slow, easy, like the way twilight deepens into night. With each exhale, let something unclench inside you. The farmer's voice, warm and steady, whispers again, maybe so, maybe not. It is O's rebald. Let those words loosen the tight places in your mind. Let them lift the pressure of needing to know, needing to control, needing to figure things out before sleep comes. Feel your body growing heavier, like sinking gently into a soft mattress. Feel your thoughts growing quieter, like a field settling under the moonlight. Let every worry become softer around the edges, dimmer, lighter, easier to set aside. Breathe in and let go. Breathe out and drift. You are safe to rest now. The story of your life is still unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. For tonight, simply trust the quiet. Trust the breath. Trust the softness gathering around you. Let the mind lower its guard. Let the body sink. Let the heart loosen its grip. And when you're ready, allow yourself to drift into sleep, calm and unburdened, like a valley settling gently into night. Story 3. The Overflowing Teacup. There was once a scholar who traveled across the sea to visit a quiet Zen master living on the edge of a small mountain town. The scholar had read many books, memorized countless teachings, and prided himself on the size of his knowledge. Yet inside, his mind was restless. His nights were long. His thoughts buzzed like a swarm of bees. So he came hoping the master would give him peace. He arrived at the master's home on a cool evening, the kind where the sky blushed purple and the lanterns began to glow softly along the old wooden porch. The master welcomed him with a gentle bow and invited him inside. The scholar immediately began talking about what he had studied, what he believed, what he wanted to achieve, and all the ways he hoped to conquer the storm inside his mind. His words poured out quickly, like water rushing downhill. The master listened quietly, offering no judgment, only presence. After a while, he lifted a teapot and gestured to the scholar. Tea. The scholar nodded. The master poured. The tea filled the cup, then reached the brim, then began to spill over the edges. The scholar gasped. Stop. It's overflowing. The master continued, his hands steady, his expression soft. Only after the tea had flowed across the table did he finally set the pot down. He looked into the scholar's eyes and said calmly, "You are like this cup, full, completely full. How can I show you anything unless you first empty yourself?" The scholar felt his breath catch in his throat. He realized he had been so busy trying, so busy proving himself, so busy fighting the noise in his mind, that there was no space left to receive anything new. His cup had been full for years. Maybe you felt that too. Days filled with things to do, evenings filled with thoughts that won't rest, a mind overflowing with worries about work, family, bills, aging, expectations, regrets, so much pouring in that nothing soothing can enter. Consider this quietly. How often does your mind spill over like that teacup? How often do you try to solve every problem at once, or wrestle with thoughts that only grow louder the more you resist? Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Imagine now that you're sitting on that wooden porch beside the Zen master. The night is gentle. A lantern flickers beside you. The cool air touches your skin. You hear distant crickets tuning the dark like soft instruments. The master places an empty cup in front of you. He pours tea again, this time slowly, carefully, filling the cup only halfway. He smiles with that quiet, knowing warmth. This, he says, is enough for tonight. Let that sink in. You don't have to fill your mind to the brim. You don't have to solve everything. You don't have to hold every worry at once. Tonight, half a cup is enough. A quarter cup is enough. Even just a few drops are enough. Let your breath empty your cup little by little. Let the thoughts pour out, not by force, but by softness, as if a gentle stream were clearing away the clutter inside you. Slowly, slowly, feel your mind opening into quiet spaces. Feel the body relaxing, loosening, releasing. You may breathe out now and allow yourself to drift gently toward rest, like an empty cup waiting for morning light. Story 4. The Broken Cup Teaching. There was once a monk who treasured a simple clay cup. It was nothing fancy, just a small, handmade cup with a smooth curve and a soft, earthy color. He used it every morning for his tea, holding it carefully, appreciating its warmth against his palms. One day, another monk visited and noticed how gently he handled it. He asked, "Why do you treat that cup as if it were precious?" The monk smiled, turning the cup slowly in his hands. "To me," he said, "this cup is already broken." The visiting monk frowned, confused, "But it's perfectly fine." "Yes." The first monk nodded. "Today it is. And I enjoy it fully because I know one day it will fall, or crack, or simply wear out. Knowing this, I appreciate it more deeply now." This teaching spread through the monastery, and eventually through the world. The cup is already broken, so we love it while it's here. Consider the things in your own life that you grasp tightly, hoping they won't change, won't fade, won't slip away. Maybe it's your health, maybe your youth, maybe a relationship, maybe a moment in life you wish you could preserve forever, or maybe it's the fear that something precious will disappear before you're ready. We all hold cups like that. But the monk wasn't telling a story about loss. He was teaching about presence, about loving today because today is here, about savoring moments while they are whole. Imagine now that you're sitting in a quiet kitchen at night, dim light, warm air, gentle silence. You hold a cup of tea between your hands. The steam rises in soft curls. You feel its warmth, its weight, the smoothness of its rim. You might notice a tenderness inside you. The way holding something gently brings out a softer breath, a quieter heartbeat, a calmer mind. Think about your own life, the people you care about, the moments you often rush through, the memories still warm in your heart. They are like this cup, precious because they are impermanent. And you are precious too. Take a slow breath in and exhale gently. Let yourself soften into this truth. You don't need to cling. You only need to be here. Tonight, this moment, this breath, that is enough. Now feel the weight of your body sinking deeper into rest. Let the breath move slowly, like warm tea flowing in a cup. Let your thoughts settle like steam drifting upward, disappearing into air. Allow yourself to rest in the warmth of this moment, appreciating it simply because it is here, whole, gentle, and ready to carry you towards sleep. Story 5. The Heavy Stone. A young student once came to a Zen master with a troubled heart. His shoulders drooped, his breath was shallow. His eyes carried the tiredness of someone who'd been holding too much for too long. The master invited him for a walk through the forest. At the edge of the trail, the master handed the student a large stone. "Carry this," he said gently. The student obeyed. They walked beneath tall trees, their branches whispering above. The stone grew heavier with each step. Sweat formed on the student's brow. Finally, exhausted, he said, "Why must I carry this heavy stone?" The master stopped, looked kindly into his eyes, and asked, "If it's so heavy, why don't you put it down?" The student blinked. He hadn't realized he had permission. He hadn't realized he could let go. He had assumed he must carry the weight simply because it was placed in his hands. Quietly, he set the stone on the ground. His arms tingled with relief. His breath deepened for the first time all day. The master smiled. This is what you do with your worries. You pick them up. You carry them. You forget you can put them down. Maybe you've felt that too. Maybe you've carried stones made of deadlines, expectations, family responsibilities, old regrets, or the pressure to keep everything together. Stones made of emotions you didn't know how to name. Tension in the chest, restlessness in the stomach, thoughts that return each night, just when you want peace. Consider this. How many stones did you carry today? How many of them are you still holding right now? Take a slow breath and imagine holding a stone in your hands. Feel its weight, its rough surface, the strain in your arms. Now imagine placing it gently on the forest floor, not throwing it, not rejecting it, just setting it down. Notice how the breath deepens when you do this. Notice how the chest loosens. Notice how the shoulders sigh. Take another breath. Slow, deep, steady. The night air cools around you as you walk through the forest with the master. Moonlight spills through the branches. Crickets hum softly in the leaves. The world feels lighter now because you have allowed yourself to set something down. And as your body grows heavier with rest, as your mind grows softer with each breath, let yourself place another stone down, and another, and another. You don't need to carry them into sleep. You don't need to hold every worry through the night. You are safe to let the forest hold them for now. Let your breath slow. Let your eyelids soften. Let your thoughts drift like leaves floating on a calm stream. Feel your whole body relaxing, releasing, unwinding. The day is fading behind you. The forest is quiet. And you are ready to drift into deep, peaceful rest. Story 6. There is an old Zen tale, told in many American sanghas, about a monk who carried a heavy pack up a long mountain trail. The pack was filled with stones, smooth, round river stones. No one had asked him to carry them. No one had given him a burden. He had simply picked them up over the years. A stone for every regret, a stone for every mistake, a stone for every moment he wished he could undo. And as he climbed, the pack grew heavier, and his steps grew slower, and the mountain rose before him like an endless struggle. One day, an elderly teacher met him on the trail. The teacher smiled, kind, patient, as though he'd been waiting for this moment all along. "Why do you carry what does not help you?" he asked. The monk hesitated. "These are my memories," he said, "my failures, my responsibilities. If I set them down, who will carry them?" The teacher touched the pack gently. "You will still remember, but you do not need to suffer." And so they sat together on the edge of the trail, overlooking a valley brushed in soft morning mist. One by one, the monk reached into the pack and placed the stones on the ground. With each stone released, he felt his shoulders ease, his breath deepen, his body soften. Some stones came out easily, others he held for a long moment before letting them go. But when he finally stood, the sky seemed wider, and the air tasted sweeter, and the path no longer felt impossible. Consider this. So much of what you carry into the night is made of the same imagined weight. Old stories, old expectations, old regrets that press on your chest as you try to rest. You don't have to throw them away. You don't have to forget them, but you can set them down for now. You can give your body permission to unclench. You might notice, even now, that your shoulders soften just a little, as though some invisible pack has eased. Take a long, slow inhale and a gentle, unhurried exhale. Imagine the sound of stones being placed beside the trail, soft, steady, final. Imagine yourself lighter with each breath, with each moment. Let the night hold what you no longer need to carry. Let the darkness cradle your tired mind. Let the quiet settle around you like a blanket. You are climbing no mountain now. You are simply breathing. You are simply resting. and the ground beneath you is enough. Let yourself drift gently into the space where nothing is heavy anymore. Story 7. There is a beloved Buddhist teaching, often told in American meditation halls, about the man who visited the Buddha in a fury. His face was tight with anger. His voice shook with accusation. His heart was a storm. He shouted at the Buddha, blaming him for things the Buddha had never done, pouring out years of bitterness onto the calm, unmoving presence before him. The Buddha listened, still as a lake at dawn. When the man finished, breath ragged, the Buddha simply asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man blinked, confused. "To the one who offered it," the Buddha nodded gently. "And so it is with your anger. I do not accept it. Anduduin." This story is often retold to remind people that not every emotion aimed at them needs to be swallowed, and not every harsh word must become a wound. But tonight, let it be a reminder of something even quieter. Not every thought in your mind must be accepted. Not every fear must be believed. Not every old echo needs to become part of your story. You might notice thoughts rising like small flames, worries about tomorrow, tensions from today, memories that sting, but you do not need to take them in. You do not need to receive them. You can simply breathe. Let your inhale be soft. Let your exhale be long, unhurried, like a gentle tide pulling away from the shore. Imagine your thoughts as the man offering anger. Imagine yourself as the Buddha, not pushing anything away, not fighting, simply choosing not to accept what does not bring peace. Feel the weight of the mattress beneath you. Feel your hands loosen. Feel the skin around your eyes relax. Whatever arises now, you can let it drift past like a cloud uncaught by the branch of a tree. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to descend into the quiet. Let sleep come to you the way evening settles across an empty field. Soft, inevitable, and tender. Story 8. There is a teaching often used by American Buddhist teachers when someone feels overwhelmed. The story of the man who held a rope too tightly. He thought the rope was keeping him safe. He thought if he let go, he would fall. But the truth was simple and painful. His grip was what hurt him. The rope was dragging, burning, tearing into his hands, and all he needed to do was release his fingers. It's a story people return to again and again, especially in the late hours of the night, when the mind clenches around worries the way a hand clenches around rope. Let yourself imagine this man walking across a windy plain, his hands wrapped tight, knuckles white, breath short. He thinks he must hold on. He thinks the rope is his lifeline. But the moment he opens his palms, the rope falls gently to the earth, and the pain begins to dissolve. The wind touches his skin. The world becomes wide again. Consider how often you hold tightly to fear, to work stress, to overthinking about family, finances, relationships, expectations. Perhaps you feel that familiar tightening in your chest. Perhaps your mind clings even when it is exhausted. But tonight, you do not need to hold on. Take a moment to breathe. Slow in, soft out. Imagine your hands relaxing, unclenching, finger by finger. Imagine a rope slipping gently from your grasp and falling harmlessly to the ground. You might notice a little warmth in your palms. You might notice your jaw easing. You might feel the first waves of heaviness in your eyelids, like someone slowly dimming the lights of your mind. Let go of just one thing tonight. You don't need to choose which. Your body will decide. Something will soften without effort, the way a rope slips free when the hand opens. And in that softness, allow yourself to drift. Let your breath guide you down. Let the night wrap its quiet arms around you. You are safe to rest, safe to soften, safe to sleep. Story 9. There is a Zen story, shared widely by American teachers, about a young monk who desperately wanted enlightenment. He practiced constantly, pushed himself endlessly, and grew frustrated when peace didn't come. One evening, his teacher found him sitting by the river, shoulders tense, jaw tight, staring into the water as though demanding it to reveal its secrets. The teacher sat beside him and picked up a small stone. "If you throw this stone hard," he said, "the ripples will be wild. If you drop it gently, the water will barely move. The river is your mind. Stop throwing." The monk let the words sink in. For the first time in weeks, he exhaled fully. You might recognize yourself in him, the pushing, the striving, the trying too hard even when you're exhausted. American life is full of this pressure. Success, productivity, constant motion, constant improvement. Even sleep becomes something people try to achieve. But rest cannot be forced. Peace cannot be squeezed out of effort. Calm comes the way the river settles slowly, naturally, when nothing is thrown into it. Take a long breath in and drop it softly on the exhale. Imagine your thoughts as small stones. Tonight, don't throw them. Don't hurl them into the river of your mind. Just let them rest in your open hand. Let them be. You might notice the water inside you beginning to still, the ripples fading, the surface smoothing into something quiet and reflective. Feel your body sinking into the bed a little more. Feel your breath slowing on its own, without demand. Let the river within you find its natural calm. Let your mind grow clear as moonlight on water. And when you are ready, let yourself drift into the soft darkness of sleep, where nothing is pushed, nothing is forced, and everything is allowed to settle gently. Story 10. There is a well-loved teaching in American Buddhist circles about the broken cup. A monk once told his students, "This cup is already broken. I drink from it. I enjoy it. But in my mind, it is already broken. And because of that, I can appreciate it fully." This teaching is shared because so much of life is fragile: relationships, jobs, plans, expectations, and yet, when we cling to permanence, we suffer. The monk wasn't saying to be sad. He was saying to love things more, because nothing is guaranteed. But tonight, let this story offer you something gentler. Permission to stop fearing the cracks in your own life. Permission to stop expecting yourself to be unbreakable. Imagine a simple cup on a wooden table. Morning light touches it. It has a small crack near the handle, barely visible, and yet it holds warm tea. It brings comfort. It does its job with quiet grace. Its imperfection makes it no less worthy. Consider this as you lie here. The places in you that feel cracked, tiredness, sadness, worry. Those are not signs of failure. They are signs of being human. They are places where the light can enter. Let yourself breathe softly, slowly, feeling each inhale fill the cup of your body, and each exhale empty it without strain. You might notice a loosening around your heart, a softness in your belly, a quiet acceptance settling in the room like falling dusk. Nothing in you needs to be perfect right now. Nothing needs to be fixed before sleep can find you. You can rest as you are: cracks, tenderness, weariness, and all. Let the day slip away, gentle as a shadow fading from a wall. Let your breath become the softest lullaby. Let the night remind you that broken things can still hold warmth, still hold beauty, still hold rest. And as your eyes grow heavier, allow yourself to drift, slowly, peacefully, into the deep, healing dark of sleep. Story 11. There is an old teaching, often shared by American meditation teachers, about a wild horse that wandered into a village. The villagers didn't know what to make of it. Some said it was a blessing. Some said it was a curse. Some believed it signaled good fortune. Others feared it meant disaster. But the village elder simply smiled and said, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." One day, the horse ran away. The villagers gathered again, shaking their heads. "Terrible luck," they said. "A great loss." But the elder repeated, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." A week later, the horse returned, bringing several wild horses with it. Now the villagers celebrated. "Wonderful luck," they cried. But the elder, calm as ever, simply said, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." The elder's son tried to ride one of the new horses, was thrown from its back, and broke his leg. The villagers gasped. "How awful," they said. But again, the elder replied, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." Soon after, the army came through the village, drafting every able-bodied young man into a distant war. Because his leg was broken, the elder's son was spared, and so the story continued, flowing like a river through the unpredictable turns of life. As you lie here tonight, feel the simple, soothing truth behind the elder's words. Life cannot be summed up by a single moment. The mind loves to predict, to judge, to label events as good or bad. But the heart knows something gentler, that things unfold beyond our understanding, often in ways we cannot yet see. Consider this. All the worries you carry into the night are just stories your mind is telling before it knows the ending. You might notice your breath tightening when you think of tomorrow. You may feel tension in your chest when you replay something from today. But you don't yet know where those threads will lead. Take a slow inhale and let it melt into a long exhale. Imagine the village at dusk, warm lantern light, soft wind, the distant sound of horses breathing quietly. Imagine the elder on his porch, sitting with a calm that feels like a blanket around his shoulders. You sit beside him, letting the weight of your concerns drift away. Everything is uncertain, and yet everything is held. You don't need to decide anything tonight. You don't need to label your day. You don't need to solve the future. Let your breath soften and settle. Let your thoughts float by without needing answers. Maybe so, maybe not. The elder whispers in your mind. We'll see. End quote. And with those simple words, let yourself drift towards sleep, trusting that the story of your life is still unfolding, gently, one breath at a time. Story 12. There is a cherished Zen parable, shared in many American retreat centers, about two pots on a riverbank. One pot was perfectly smooth, beautifully shaped, proud of its appearance. The other had a small crack that ran down its side, an imperfection it could never hide. Every morning, a woman carried both pots to the river, filled them with fresh water, and walked back toward her home. By the time she arrived, the cracked pot had leaked half its water, leaving a small trail behind her. The perfect pot felt superior. The cracked pot felt ashamed, apologizing daily for its flaw. One day, the woman knelt beside the cracked pot and said, "Look at the path we walk." And when the pot looked, it saw something it had never noticed. Flowers blooming along its side of the trail, bright with color, fed by the water it thought it was wasting. "You made these," she said with a smile. "Because of you, the path is beautiful." Tonight, consider how often you judge yourself for the parts of you that feel cracked. Your sadness, your exhaustion, the moments you've stumbled, the nights you can't quiet your mind. You may believe these cracks make you broken, but perhaps, in ways you cannot see, they have watered something tender and bright. Take a moment to breathe in gently and exhale slowly, as if releasing a long-held apology. Imagine the path lit by soft morning light, the air cool, the flowers opening like small sighs of gratitude. You walk alongside the woman, hearing the gentle slosh of water, feeling the rhythm of her steps. Nothing in you is wasted. Nothing in you is a mistake. You might notice your heart softening around its own imperfections. You might feel your breath deepen as you accept the truth that flaws do not diminish your worth. They shape your beauty. Let your inhale fill you with warmth. Let your exhale dissolve your self-judgment. Tonight, you are allowed to rest as you are, cracks and all. Let the softness of the night remind you that you have been watering quiet miracles your whole life, even in the moments you felt most broken. As your eyes grow heavier, lie back into the dark. Let your breath become simple and slow, and let yourself drift gently into sleep, held by the beauty you've created without even knowing. Story 13. There is a calm story often retold by American Buddhist teachers about a young student visiting an old Zen master for guidance. The student was anxious, overwhelmed, carrying years of tension in his body, mind racing with thoughts he couldn't quiet. He had read countless books, tried countless methods, and still he felt lost. The master invited him to sit and serve tea. As the student spoke about his troubles, the master began to pour. The tea rose, reached the rim, and then overflowed onto the table. The student gasped, "Stop, the cup can't hold any more." The master set down the pot. "Like this cup," he said softly, "your mind is too full to receive anything new. Empty yourself." I'm Robrate. This story echoes through American teachings because the mind today is often overflowing plans, worries, news, responsibilities, endless noise, and at night, when the world grows quiet, the mind becomes even louder. But tonight, imagine yourself as that cup. Consider how full you've been, how much you've carried in your thoughts, your shoulders, your breath. Perhaps you feel it even now, that sense of mental overflowing. Take a slow, easy inhale and let your exhale pour out like warm tea, spilling gently, cleansing the space within you. Imagine the Zen master's room, wooden floors, a paper lantern glowing softly, the warmth of tea rising like a whisper. Imagine sitting there, the air still, your worries loosening their grip. You might notice your breath slowing as you release the pressure of today. You might feel your mind quieting, the way a cup becomes empty after being poured out. With each exhale, let something unnecessary leave you. A worry, a regret, a thought you've held too long. Your cup doesn't need to be filled tonight. It only needs to be empty enough for rest. Let the silence settle around you like soft fabric. Let your body sink deeper into comfort. Let the tea story linger in your mind as you drift slowly towards sleep. Spacious and unburdened. Story 14. There is a gentle Buddhist teaching, often shared in American Dharma circles, the story of the lute string. A young monk practiced meditation with fierce determination, sitting long hours, forcing his breath, straining for enlightenment. Exhaustion overtook him. Discouragement filled him. The Buddha asked him, "When the string of your lute is too tight, what happens?" "It snaps," the monk replied, "and when it is too loose, it will not play." The Buddha smiled softly. The mind is the same, not too tight, not too loose. This teaching has helped countless people in the West, especially those who push themselves hard at work, in parenting, in relationships, in self-improvement. Life becomes a string pulled so tight it trembles with tension. Tonight, consider whether you too have tightened your string too much. Perhaps you've tried so hard to be strong, to be successful, to be everything for everyone. The pressure builds, the sound becomes strained. Take a slow breath in and let a gentle breath out. Imagine the monk holding his lute under the moonlight, adjusting the string until it hums with a soft, clear tone. Imagine that tone vibrating through your chest, easing tightness, unwinding stress. You might notice your jaw unclench. You might feel your shoulders drop. You might sense a warmth spreading behind your eyes, like the beginning of tears, but soft ones, the kind that heal. Not too tight, not too loose. Let this be your approach to rest. You don't need to force sleep. You don't need to chase calm. Let your body find its natural balance. Allow your breath to settle where it wants to settle. Feel the mattress cradle you. Feel the blanket hold you. Feel the night tuning you gently, guiding you toward peace. As the last notes of the lute fade into the darkness, let yourself drift, slowly and sweetly, into the quiet melody of sleep. Story 15. There is a parable, shared often by teachers like Jack Cornfield and Sharon Salzberg, about a man searching for a place of perfect peace. He traveled for years across deserts, through forests, over mountains. Everywhere he went, he found noise, difficulty, conflict. He returned home, tired and disheartened. One evening, as he sat on his porch at dusk, watching the sky fade into purple, an old neighbor sat beside him. "You've been chasing peace," the neighbor said. "But peace is not a place. It is the moment you stop running." The man had never thought of it that way. He closed his eyes and took a single breath. In that breath, he felt something he had missed all those years, a stillness beneath everything, like a quiet pond resting under the surface of life. Tonight, think of how often you, too, chase peace, trying to fix everything before you can rest, trying to solve tomorrow's problems before sleep can come. But peace doesn't wait for perfection. Peace doesn't arrive after the to-do list is complete. Peace begins the moment you pause. Take a deep, gentle inhale, and let the exhale fall out of you like a sigh you didn't know you were holding. Imagine yourself on that porch night, air cool, a faint breeze brushing your skin, the sky deepening, the neighbor sitting quietly beside you. No one asks anything of you. No one needs you to be strong. No one is waiting for you to accomplish one more thing. You might notice your breath smoothing into a slow rhythm. You might feel your body easing into the bed, like settling into an old rocking chair that fits your shape perfectly. Peace is here. Not distant, not earned, not conditional, just here. Let yourself pause. Let yourself soften. Let yourself surrender to the quiet that has been waiting for you all along. And as the porch fades into darkness, let your breath guide you into sleep soft, unhurried, and full of the peace you no longer need to chase. Story 16. There is a beloved teaching, often shared by American Zen teachers, about a man who carried a heavy bag of rocks everywhere he went. No one asked him to. No one expected it of him. But he clutched the bag tightly, dragging it up hills, through forests, across long, dusty roads. The weight pulled at his shoulders, strained his back, slowed his steps. One day, exhausted, he stopped by a river where an old monk was sitting quietly on a flat stone. The monk watched him struggle with the bag and asked gently, "Why do you carry such weight?" The man replied, "These are my mistakes, my regrets, my failures. I must keep them close." "Well," the monk nodded, then pointed toward the flowing water. "If the river held every fallen leaf forever, it would stop flowing. If you hold every regret, you stop living." The man stared at the river. Leaf after leaf floated past, released, carried, transformed. He hesitated, then opened the bag and let the stones drop one by one into the water. With each splash, the river accepted them, without judgment, without hesitation. He felt lighter, not perfect, not fixed, just lighter. Tonight, as you rest here, you might notice you've been carrying your own bag of heavy stones. Some from today, some from 10 years ago, some you never meant to hold so long. Feel the weight of them in your chest, in your breath, in the muscles that refuse to loosen at night. Take a slow, easy breath in, and let it flow out like a stone falling into water. Imagine sitting beside that river. The moonlight rests gently on the surface. The night air is cool, soft against your skin. Imagine opening your own bag, even just a little. You don't have to empty it completely tonight. You only need to loosen your grip. Let yourself breathe with the rhythm of the river. Let each exhale release one small stone, a thought, a regret, a pressure you don't have to hold until morning. Feel the subtle lightness beginning in your shoulders, moving through your arms, drifting down your spine. You are allowed to rest without all that weight. You are allowed to sleep without fixing everything first. Let the river carry the rest. As your body softens into the bed, let your mind flow like water, gentle, slow, unburdened, and drift into sleep, lighter than when you arrived. Story 17. There is a story told often in American Buddhist retreats about a young monk who wanted enlightenment more than anything. He meditated for hours every day, pushing himself harder and harder. But the harder he pushed, the more restless his mind became. One day he approached his teacher in frustration. "Master, my mind will not stop. I try and try, but I cannot make it still." The teacher looked at him kindly and said, "When you chase a butterfly, it flies away. But if you sit quietly in a field, sometimes it lands on your shoulder." The young monk didn't understand at first. But that night, instead of forcing himself, he sat by a quiet lake under the stars. He breathed gently. He let the sounds of the night move around him, the rustling leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the soft lapping of water. And there, without trying, the restlessness faded. The stillness came to him like a butterfly settling wing to wing. Tonight, consider how often you chase calm, how often you try to force sleep, to force your mind to settle, to force your thoughts to quiet. But peace is not something you wrestle into place. It arrives when you soften, take a deep inhale, and exhale as though letting go of a long-held tension. Imagine you're sitting by that quiet lake. The surface reflects the stars like scattered silver coins. The air is cool and still. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You simply sit, breathe, and exist gently in this moment. Feel your breath becoming smoother. Feel your body growing heavier, sinking deeper into comfort. Feel the night around you becoming soft, like velvet. And maybe, just maybe, peace will settle onto your shoulder, light as a butterfly, guiding you into sleep without effort. Story 18. There is a cherished story often told by teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh about a woman carrying a bucket of water from a well. As she walked, she noticed the reflection of the moon floating on the surface of the water. She smiled, feeling peaceful. But as she continued through a rocky path, the water rippled and the moon's reflection shattered. She whispered, "My peace is gone." But when she reached home and set the bucket down, the water became still once more. And there it was, the moon whole, bright, unchanged. Tonight, think about how your mind is like that bucket of water. When life shakes you, stress at work, family responsibilities, unexpected news, the reflection breaks. You feel scattered, restless, unsettled. But the moon has never left you. Your calm has never left you. It only waits for the water to settle. Take a long, slow inhale and an easy, open exhale. Imagine holding that bucket in your hands. The weight is familiar, but not heavy. The night sky shines above you, cool and clear. You can feel the earth beneath your feet. As you breathe, imagine the water becoming still, the ripples fading, the moon appearing again steady, faithful, quietly glowing. You might notice your thoughts slowing. You might feel your heartbeat softening. You might sense that quiet place inside you returning. Your peace was never gone. It was simply waiting for stillness. Let that stillness spread through your body. Let your breath become calm and warm. Let yourself settle, like water resting gently in a wooden bucket. And as your inner moon rises again, let yourself drift peacefully into sleep. Story 19. There is a story beloved in many American Dharma circles about a woman who lived with constant worry. She worried about her job, her family, her health, her future. She worried during the day. She worried at night. Her mind moved like a storm, loud, unending. One day, she met an old monk who handed her a small cup. "Fill this with water," he said, "but do not spill a drop." As she walked carefully, her eyes fixed on the water, she stopped thinking about her worries. She stopped imagining disasters. She stopped carrying her usual fears. When she returned, the monk smiled. "See? Where your attention rests, your worries cannot follow." Tonight, bring your attention gently to your breath, not to your fears, not to tomorrow, just to this simple moment. Take a deep inhale through your nose and a soft exhale through your mouth. Imagine holding that small cup of water. Your hands are steady, your steps are slow. Your mind becomes quieter with each breath you take. You might notice your attention settling on the feeling of the pillow beneath your head, or the warmth of the blanket, or the sound of your own breath. Soft and rhythmic like a tide going in and out. Right now, this moment is enough. Right now, you are enough. Let your attention rest gently in your body, in your breath, in the softness of the night, and let yourself drift, unhurried, into sleep. Story 20. There is a Zen tale retold by many modern teachers about a traveler who arrived at a monastery carrying a large bundle. He asked the master, "Where should I put this?" The master looked at him kindly and said, "Put it down." The traveler blinked, "But I've carried it a long way." "Then put it down," the master repeated. The traveler set the bundle on the ground, and for the first time in years, he stood without the weight. Tonight, think of all the bundles you've carried today. Expectations, deadlines, worries, memories, arguments that still echo, words you wish you had said differently, tasks waiting for you tomorrow. You've carried them long enough. Take a deep inhale and a long, slow exhale. Imagine yourself standing at the entrance of a quiet monastery in the mountains. The air is cool and fragrant with pine. A warm lantern glows near the door. The master stands beside you, gentle-eyed, waiting. You look down at the bundle in your hands, everything you've been holding all day. Then, slowly, you place it on the ground. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your heart soften. You do not have to carry everything into the night. You do not have to carry everything into your sleep. Let this be the moment you put it down. The master smiles, and the night surrounds you with calm. The air grows quieter, softer, almost velvety. Your body grows heavier in the most comforting way. Let the weight fall away. Let your breath guide you. Let the darkness cradle you gently, and drift softly into sleep, unburdened and free. Story 21. There is an old story often retold by Buddhist teachers about two travelers on a quiet road. One carried a bundle on his back, heavy and awkward. The other carried nothing at all. As the sun began to set, the man with the burden groaned and asked, "Why does my load feel heavier with every mile?" The other man simply smiled and said, "Because you tighten your grip the longer you hold it." Let yourself settle as you hear this. Perhaps you've known that feeling yourself, how a day that begins with a few small worries ends with shoulders that ache, breath that shortens, and a mind that never quite becomes quiet. You keep gripping the same thoughts, the same fears, the same regrets, until they grow heavier simply by being held too long. In this story, as the path stretched out into a soft purple dusk, the man with the burden finally stopped. He set the bundle on the ground and sat beside it. "I thought I had to carry it," he said quietly. "I never imagined I could rest." And the other traveler, who had walked beside him without judgment or impatience, replied, "Most of what we carry is optional. We just forget that we can put it down." Consider this, dear listener. There may be something in your day, some tightness around a decision, some worry about tomorrow, some small nagging memory that you've been holding longer than your heart can comfortably bear. You might not need to throw it away forever. You might just need to set it down for the night. Imagine placing that burden gently beside you. You can pick it up again tomorrow if you truly need to. For now, let your hands loosen. Feel how your breath expands when you stop gripping the weight of the day. Take a soft, unhurried breath in, and a long, slow breath out. Let your shoulders relax into your pillow. Let your jaw unclench. Let your belly soften. You are not required to carry everything right now. The night welcomes you as you are unburdened, lighter, softer. Breathe again, and let yourself drift toward the ease that awaits you in sleep. Story 22. There is a well-loved Zen tale about a monk who lived near a river. The water there moved gently, always flowing, never the same, never in a hurry. People often came to him for advice, and he would listen quietly, offering very few words. One evening, as the autumn wind brushed through the trees, a man arrived, carrying a long history of anger at his boss, at his family, at himself. The monk welcomed him with tea. The man spoke for a long time, voice sharp at first, then softer, as fatigue tugged at the edges of his story. After a while, the monk led him down to the riverbank. They stood in silence as the water shimmered in the fading light. The monk bent down, picked up a stone, and handed it to the man. "Hold this," he said. The man held it. "Now," the monk continued, "throw it into the river." The man hesitated. The stone was solid, familiar, something to grip. But after a moment, he tossed it into the gentle flow, and they watched the ripples widen and fade. "Do you feel lighter?" the monk asked. The man blinked. "A little." The monk nodded. "Anger is like that stone. You may believe it gives you power, but it weighs you down more than you know. Perhaps you've felt this in your own day. A moment of irritation that clung to your chest, an argument replaying in your mind, a frustration that sharpened your breath. Consider how heavy these small stones become when gathered over weeks, months, years. Imagine yourself standing beside that river now. Feel the cool air on your skin. Hear the soft movement of the water. Envision placing each small stone of your day into your palm, each annoyance, each regret, each tightening of the heart. Feel their weight. And now, one by one, picture yourself letting them fall into the flowing river, carried away by something larger and more forgiving than your thoughts. Breathe slowly, in and out. Let the river take the weight you no longer need to hold. Let your mind rest like still water under the moonlight. Let this quiet moment carry you towards sleep, where nothing is heavy and everything is allowed to soften. Story 23. There is a classic Buddhist story, often shared by Western teachers, about a young monk struggling to meditate. Every time he sat down, his thoughts swarmed like bees. Memories rose. Plans tangled in his mind. Worries danced behind his eyes. One morning he went to his teacher, exasperated. "My thoughts won't stop," he said. "I try so hard to be still, but they keep coming." The teacher smiled gently. "Your mind is like a puppy," he said. "It wanders. It gets distracted. It chases everything. You do not scold a puppy for exploring. You simply guide it back, again and again, with tenderness." The young monk frowned. "But it's exhausting." "Yes," the teacher replied softly, "but only if you expect it to behave differently than it does. Let yourself breathe as you sit with that. Maybe your mind has been wandering tonight back through your day, forward into tomorrow, looping around old conversations, imagining outcomes that may never happen. Perhaps there's a small voice telling you that you should be calm by now, that you should sleep, that you should stop thinking. But your mind is not an enemy. It is just a small, eager puppy, running from moment to moment, trying to keep you safe, trying to understand the world. Imagine sitting in a quiet room with this gentle puppy of a mind. It runs off. You smile. You pat your lap and say, "Come back now." And it does, over and over. No force, no frustration, just gentle returning. Feel your breath flowing in and slowly out. Notice your thoughts drifting, and without judgment, invite them home. Each return is enough. Each breath is enough. You do not have to silence your mind for sleep to come. You only have to soften. Let the thoughts slow like a puppy curling at your feet. Let your breath cradle you. Let your body grow warm and heavy. Sleep will find you when you stop trying so hard to find it. Story 24. Long ago, a Zen master walked with a student through a garden just after rain. The earth glistened. Leaves shivered with droplets. The air felt clean. The student sighed heavily, shoulders slumped, mind troubled by mistakes he had made, things he had said at work, ways he felt he had failed, those he cared about. The master paused beside a flower drooping under a bead of water. He touched the petal gently, and the droplet fell, landing softly on the ground. "Do you see?" the master asked. The student looked confused. "See what?" "The flower does not cling to the water," the master said, "and the water does not cling to the flower." The student frowned. "But the water will come again." "Yes," the master nodded, "and when it does, the flower will accept it, and when it goes, the flower will let it go. This is the way of life. You might feel the truth of this in your own experience. Some days bring heaviness, some bring embarrassment or regret or small missteps you replay again and again. But like the rain on a petal, each moment is meant to touch you briefly, then fall away. Consider the gentle permission in that. You do not need to hold every memory of today. You do not need to cling to every mistake. You can let the moment slip from your petals, making room for the next breath, the next dawn, the next chance. As you lie where you are now, imagine yourself as that flower in the garden, soft, open, held by the earth. Feel any lingering weight gently sliding off you, falling to the ground where it will dissolve into the soil. Let your breath be like clean rain. Let your body grow still. Let the night cradle you the way the earth cradles all things. Breathe slowly, deeply, softly, until sleep arrives like morning light. Story 25. There is a cherished teaching called the broken cup, shared often by Western meditation mentors. A monk once held up a simple cup and said to his students, "To me, this cup is already broken. One day it will fall or crack or be worn by time. Knowing this, I can fully appreciate it right now." The lesson was not meant to be sad, it was meant to free the heart. Later, the monk invited a student who struggled with fear of loss. The student worried constantly about money, about aging parents, about the slow and steady passing of time. The monk handed him the cup. "Hold it," he said. "Feel its weight." The student held it carefully, as if it might slip. "Now," the monk continued, "imagine that it has already returned to the earth. Imagine it has lived its life." The student felt a strange softening. "If it's already broken," he whispered, "then every moment with it is a gift." You might know this feeling too. Perhaps you've had a long day filled with the quiet ache of wanting things to stay the same, the health of someone you love, the stability of your life, the sense that time will wait for you. But when you loosen your grip on how things must be, you find a deeper gratitude for how they are. Consider your own life gently now. The people you treasure, the home that shelters you, the breath you are taking. Everything is temporary, and because of that, everything is precious. Let this soften you, not with sadness, but with peace. As you settle into the quiet of night, place your worries beside you like that cup. You can hold them again tomorrow if you choose. For now, let your breath deepen. Let your gratitude warm your chest. Let the passing of time feel like a gentle river guiding you toward rest. Breathe softly. You are safe. You are here. And sleep is coming like a slow-moving tide. Story 26. There is an old tale, familiar in American Buddhist circles, about a horse that wandered into a village one morning. No one knew where it came from. People gathered, whispering. "Such good luck," some said. "A strong horse like this could change your life." Others frowned. "Or bring trouble. Who knows what it carries?" The villager who found the horse simply shrugged. "Maybe so," he said. "Maybe not." Days later, the horse ran away. "Terrible luck," the neighbors cried. The man only repeated, "Maybe so, maybe not." Weeks passed, and the horse returned with 2 wild companions. "Amazing luck," the neighbors exclaimed. "Look at what you've gained." Again the man smiled. "Maybe so, maybe not." His son tried riding one of the new horses and fell. breaking his leg. Awful luck, the neighbors said. The man answered softly, maybe so, maybe not. Soon after, soldiers came through the village, taking all the young men to war. Because of his broken leg, the son stayed home. What good fortune, the neighbors cried. And once more, the man replied, maybe so, maybe not. Let yourself breathe with this story. Life moves in ways we cannot predict. Things that feel like misfortune may reveal unexpected blessings. Things that feel like blessings may bring challenges we cannot yet see. You may have felt this yourself, a job that changed suddenly, a relationship that shifted, a plan that unraveled, a moment that broke your heart only to open something deeper in time. Consider, just for tonight, releasing your grip on what is good or bad. Let the day soften into the shades of uncertainty that every life contains. You do not need to solve everything before sleeping. You do not need to decide the meaning of your experiences. You can let life unfold, breath by breath. Lie quietly now. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the weight of the blankets. Feel the steadiness of the earth beneath you. You are not required to know what comes next. Let each breath whisper, maybe so, maybe not, until the boundaries of the day blur into dreams. Sleep comes gently when we stop trying to control the story. Let yourself drift into the wide, peaceful unknown. Story 27. There is a story, gently passed down through many American Buddhist teachers, about a monk who asked his master, "What is the key to peace?" The master led him to a small pond in the early morning light. Mist hovered above the surface. The world felt quiet, unhurried. The master bent down and stirred the water with a stick. The ripples widened, distorting the soft reflection of the sky. "Look," he said. The monk leaned in, seeing only the trembling surface. The master then placed the stick beside him and waited. Slowly, almost invisibly, the pond began to still. The ripples softened, then disappeared entirely. The sky returned, reflected perfectly in the quiet surface. "Do you understand?" the master asked. The monk frowned. "The water was disturbed because you touched it," he said. The master nodded. "And your mind is disturbed because you touch your thoughts. Let that settle inside you for a moment. Perhaps you've noticed this in your own life, how a single thought can swirl into a storm when you poke it, examine it, rehearse it, turn it over again and again. The worries about tomorrow, the conversations replaying in your mind, the regrets from earlier today. Each touch creates ripples, and the ripples become waves." The master continued, "When you let the mind be, when you step back and stop interfering, the ripples fade on their own. Imagine your mind as this quiet pond now. Thoughts may appear, but you do not need to stir them. Let them rise and fall like gentle ripples. Notice the way your breath moves in and out, like a breeze passing over water, but not disturbing its depths. You might consider the places today where you stirred the mind too much. Maybe a worry about finances, or a project at work, or something someone said. Perhaps you felt yourself poking at it all day, creating more ripples than clarity. Take a slow breath. Let your thoughts drift without grasping them, without pushing them away, without poking. Feel how the pond inside you begins to settle. Feel how the stillness returns on its own. Nothing forced, nothing chased. In this softness, let your body grow heavier. Let your eyelids sink. Let the ripples fade from your mind until the quiet returns, deep and natural. Sleep will come like a reflection on still water, effortless and serene. Story 28. Teachers like Pema Chodron and Jack Cornfield often retell a classic Buddhist image, a person clinging to a rope tied to a horse that is running wildly. The horse symbolizes the mind, impatient, restless, always racing towards something or away from something, and the person holding the rope is you, struggling to control every thought, every possibility, every fear. Once, in an old village, a man tried to lead his horse through the square, but the horse became startled and bolted. The man clung to the rope, dragged through dust and gravel, desperate and breathless. An elder watching nearby called out, "Let go of the rope," but the man gripped tighter, convinced he could force the horse to calm down. The horse, sensing the tension, only ran faster. Finally, exhausted and bruised, the man released the rope. The horse sprinted across the field, made a wide arc, and settled on its own, grazing quietly. The elder walked over, helped the man stand, and said, "You were not holding the horse was holding you." Perhaps you've felt this, how your own thoughts drag you from one worry to another. You try to control them, fix them, understand them completely. But the more tightly you pull, the faster they run. Your mind gallops through memories, anxieties, expectations, and you feel like you're being carried along without choice. Consider this now. What if you let go of the rope? Not abandon your responsibilities, not ignore what matters. Simply loosen your grip on the thoughts you cannot calm by force. Imagine the rope slipping from your hands. The horse of your mind continues running for a moment, then slows, then grazes peacefully in the field of your awareness. Thoughts settle by themselves when you stop wrestling with them. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your chest open. Feel the tugging inside you soften. Let yourself be here, in this moment, without chasing or resisting anything. Let the wildness inside you quiet naturally. Let sleep come like a gentle horse walking toward you across a meadow at dusk, unhurried, calm, steady. Story 29. There is a beloved Zen koan about an overflowing teacup, used often by Western teachers to show how the mind clings to certainty, leaving no room for peace. A scholar visited a master, eager to learn the secrets of Zen. He spoke rapidly, listing everything he already knew, explaining his accomplishments, filling the air with his certainty. The master listened politely, then poured tea into the scholar's cup. The cup filled, then overflowed. Tea spilled across the table and onto the floor. The scholar jumped up. "Stop! Can't you see the cup is full?" The master set down the pot. "Yes," he said calmly, "and like this cup, your mind is already filled. How can I offer you anything unless you empty it first?" You may have felt this same fullness, your mind crowded with expectations, tasks, plans, opinions, to-do lists, worries stacked like books on a shelf ready to topple. When the mind is too full, even kindness has nowhere to land. Even rest has nowhere to settle. Imagine your own teacup now held gently in your hands. Picture every thought from today filling it. The emails, the conversations, the small irritations, the fears about tomorrow. Notice how heavy it becomes, how crowded. Now imagine slowly pouring out the tea, not throwing it away in frustration, just tipping the cup enough for the liquid to flow, letting the contents return to the earth. You might feel a settling in your chest as you do this, a lightness in your shoulders, space opening inside you. An empty cup is not a loss. It is an invitation, a soft openness where peace can enter, where sleep can settle, where breath can move with ease. Hold the cup of your mind now open, spacious, ready for rest. Let your breathing slow. Let your body sink deeper into the mattress. Let thoughts drain gently until only quiet remains. Sleep will pour itself into the open space you've created. Story 30. There is a story known in many American meditation circles about a farmer whose life was filled with constant rushing. Every morning, he ran through his chores, feeding animals, checking fences, tending fields, all while thinking of what he still needed to do. One day, his old neighbor watched him hurry past and said, "You move as if your feet are on fire." The farmer laughed. "There's too much to do. If I slow down, I'll fall behind." The neighbor nodded thoughtfully. Then he picked up a bowl of water and began walking with it across the yard, step by deliberate step, eyes soft, posture easy. The water barely moved. The farmer shouted, "Why are you walking so slowly?" The neighbor said, "Because I want the water to stay inside the bowl." The farmer frowned, confused. The neighbor stepped closer and placed the bowl in the farmer's hands. "This bowl," he said gently, "is like your heart. When you rush, it spills. When you hurry through your life, you lose what matters, the calm, the presence, the small joys that make each day worth living." The farmer stood there, feeling the quiet weight of the bowl. He realized how much had been spilling out of him, his patience, his kindness, his sense of meaning, all lost in the speed of his days. Consider your own bowl. How much spilled today? Maybe your energy drained through small frustrations. Maybe your patience thinned after long hours of work. Maybe your heart felt stretched by too many responsibilities, too many directions. Now imagine holding a bowl in your hands. Move slowly with it. Let each breath be one careful step. Let the water settle. Let your life settle. Your breath is the bowl's steadiness. As you inhale, imagine the water becoming still. As you exhale, release the rush, the pressure, the hurry. This moment is wide enough for rest, wide enough for peace. Your body softens. Your mind quiets. The bowl steadies completely. Let sleep gather in its surface like moonlight on still water. Let it carry you gently into the night. Story 31. The Bamboo That Bends. There is an old Zen story told in many American meditation halls about a great storm passing through a forest of tall trees. Pine trees stood rigid, bracing against the wind. Oaks held firm, refusing to bow. But the bamboo, thin, humble, unassuming, bent with every gust, folding almost to the ground, then rising again with quiet resilience. When the storm passed, the pines lay snapped along the hillside, the mighty oaks split and fallen, but the bamboo stood unharmed, leaves trembling gently in the fading wind. A young monk once asked his teacher, "Why does the bamboo survive when stronger trees fall?" The teacher smiled. "Because strength is not the same as stiffness. What does not bend, breaks." Ah yes, was. Let that settle in your heart for a moment. You may have had days when you felt you had to stand strong through everything. Deadlines, family responsibilities, unexpected news, old wounds brushing against your heart. You tried to hold firm, to stay upright, to resist every gust of life blowing through you. But strength is not rigid, and resilience isn't born from gripping tightly. Consider the places in your life where you could soften, even a little, where bending doesn't mean giving up, but simply letting life move through you instead of against you. Take a slow breath now, letting your body loosen. Imagine yourself as bamboo in a gentle evening wind, swaying but never broken, flexible, alive, rooted, safe. Feel how this softness invites rest. Feel how bending toward the bed, settling deeper into your pillow, becomes its own kind of wisdom. Let the breath become slower. Let your thoughts drift like leaves sliding down a quiet stream. Nothing to resist, nothing to hold upright. You are allowed to bend, allowed to rest. Let sleep come like the calm after the storm, quiet, spacious, safe. Story 32. The Bell and the Stone. A monk once approached his teacher, carrying a small meditation bell. "Master," he asked, "why does my mind feel so unsettled? Why does every little thought echo so loudly?" The master picked up a smooth river stone and placed it inside the bell. He shook it gently. The sound became sharp, jarring, metallic. The monk winced. Then the master removed the stone. He shook the bell again. This time the sound rang pure, soft, effortless. "The stone," the teacher said, "is the tension you carry. Expectations, worries, old stories. When the heart is crowded, every thought becomes noise. Remove one stone, and the mind becomes clearer. Think of the stones you carried today, a long conversation that stayed with you, a task unfinished, concerns about your future, that tightness in your chest when something didn't go as planned. One by one, imagine setting those stones aside, not throwing them away, just placing them gently on the ground beside you. Feel the bell of your mind lighten. Feel the echoes soften. Breathe slowly, letting each exhale release one small stone. A worry loosens, a memory fades, a pressure softens. The bell grows clearer. Now imagine the master shaking the bell within you, its tone no longer sharp, but round and warm, spreading through your whole body like a hum of peace. Let that sound guide your breath. Let it soothe the places inside you that have been tight for too long. As the tone fades, imagine drifting with it into the quiet beyond sound, into rest. Sleep comes softly when the stones are set down. Story A33, The Lantern in the Dark. In a quiet village, a traveler walked at night with a lantern glowing softly in his hands. A young boy saw him and asked, "Why carry a lantern? You know these roads well." The traveler said, "The lantern is not for me. It is for those I may meet along the way." As they walked, a gust of wind blew the lantern out. Darkness wrapped around them. The boy panicked, but the traveler remained calm. "You fear the dark only because you forget that you carry your own eyes," the traveler said gently. "What guides you is not the lantern, but your awareness." So the boy stood still. He breathed. He felt the earth under his feet, the cool night air on his skin, the quiet around him. Slowly, shapes began to return, trees like soft silhouettes, the curve of the road, a distant house with warm light in its windows. "See," the traveler said, "the lantern helps, but you carry the real light within you." Perhaps tonight you feel as though your lantern has gone out. Maybe you're tired. Maybe today weighed heavily on you. Maybe your inner light feels dim, uncertain, but awareness remains. Your breath remains. The steady beating of your heart remains. Let your awareness be the small glow that guides you. Not bright, not forceful, just enough. Feel your breath like a lantern's warm flicker. Feel your chest rising and falling softly. Feel the quiet road of night opening before you. Let yourself trust the darkness. It is gentle. It welcomes rest. As you breathe, feel your inner light glowing, faintly safe, steady, guiding you towards sleep. Story 34, The Two Wolves. There is a teaching often shared by American Buddhist and mindfulness teachers, the story of the two wolves. An elder tells a child, "Inside each person, two wolves are always fighting. One is fear, anger, impatience, worry. The other is kindness, patience, calm, understanding." The child asks, "Which wolf wins?" The elder smiles softly, "The one you feed." But the story rarely shares the next part, the part whispered gently in meditation halls. The elder leaned closer to the child and added, "And sometimes both wolves are tired, so we rest. And when we rest, even the troubled wolf becomes gentle." Think of the wolf inside you that felt restless today, the one that growled with worry, the one that snapped at small frustrations, the one that circled endlessly inside your chest. That wolf is not bad. It is simply tired. And the calm wolf, your patience, your kindness, also longs to curl up in the quiet. Imagine both wolves lying down beside you now, their breathing slowing, their bodies sinking into soft leaves of a forest floor. The troubled wolf whimpers once, then grows quiet. The gentle wolf presses close, offering warmth. Let your breath match theirs, slow, deep, settling. Feel your ribs expand like a forest at dusk. Feel the peaceful heaviness settling through you. Let both wolves rest. Let your heart rest. Let sleep gather like moonlight through trees. Story 35, The Broken Bridge. A traveler once reached a river where a wooden bridge had collapsed. He sat on the bank, frustrated. "I cannot go forward," he said. "The broken bridge has ruined my journey." A monk passing by sat beside him. "The bridge is only broken in your plan," he said softly. "Not in your heart, not in the world." He pointed to the river. Sunlight glimmered on the surface. Water moved gently around smooth stones. "You can cross here," the monk said, stepping carefully into the shallow water. "Or rest, or choose another direction. The bridge is not the end. It is only one way." Perhaps today something didn't go as planned. A conversation, a task, a hope you quietly held. It may feel like a broken bridge, forcing you to stop, to rethink, to feel uncertain. But consider this. Life offers many crossings. Some planned, some unexpected. Some you discover only when you pause long enough to look around. Take a slow breath. Feel your feet on the metaphorical riverbank. Feel the coolness of possibility around you. Nothing is stuck. Nothing is ended. Tonight you do not need to choose a direction. You only need to rest by the river. Imagine lying on soft grass near the water, the night air cool and gentle, the river whispering its steady, timeless music. Let your breath match that rhythm, slow and flowing. Let the broken bridge fade from your thoughts. Let the river carry away the tension. Let your body sink into the ground beneath you. Supported fully, sleep will come like a boat drifting across quiet water. Zen Story #36. Original story title: The Empty Cup. Story narration: Come closer, my friend. Sit comfortably, maybe with a soft pillow behind your back. Let your shoulders loosen a little. Tonight's story is an old one, as old as the worn sandals of a wandering monk, yet fresh as morning air across an open porch. Long ago, a respected professor traveled to meet a Zen master. The professor had studied many things: philosophy, religion, psychology. He had read thick books, written long essays, and carried opinions the way some people carry a full suitcase, heavy and always by his side. When he arrived at the master's small wooden house, the master welcomed him with a bow and a gentle smile. They sat across from each other at a low table. The master offered tea, simple green tea, steaming softly like breath in winter. As he poured, the professor immediately began talking. He spoke about his theories, his beliefs, his knowledge of Zen. He spoke loudly, confidently, endlessly. He spoke as though he were teaching the master, instead of listening. The master nodded quietly, but continued to pour the tea, and pour, until the tea rose to the brim, and then spilled over the cup, onto the professor's hand, and dripping across the table. "Stop!" the professor shouted. "The cup is full. No more will go in, 'cause he's lost." The old master looked at him with soft, clear eyes and said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own ideas. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" The wind stirred outside, brushing old leaves along the wooden porch. The professor finally fell silent, perhaps for the first time in many years. In that stillness, something shifted inside him. Not knowledge, not theory, just space. Space to listen, and in that space, learning began. Master's reflection. In our modern lives, full calendars, full inboxes, full minds, we often carry ourselves like that professor. We think we already know the answers. We talk more than we listen, and because we're full, nothing new can enter. But peace happens when we loosen our grip, when we allow ourselves to not know for a moment, when we allow silence to teach us more than certainty ever did. Tonight, before sleep takes you, imagine setting down your full cup. Let thoughts drain away, drop by drop. Make room for peace. Lesson. Insight. A full mind cannot receive wisdom. Empty your cup just a little and peace will flow in. Zen Story #37. Original story title: The Sound of One Hand. Story narration: Rest your body. Let your breathing soften. This story begins in a quiet Zen temple on a misty hillside, where morning bells echoed gently through the trees. A young monk named Hakuin approached his master, hoping for a deeper teaching. He was ambitious, eager, sometimes restless, like many of us, when life pressures us to be more. The master gave him a koan, a riddle meant to open the mind. He said, "Hakuin, listen carefully. Your task is simple. Show me the sound of one hand." Hakuin blinked. He raised one hand and waved it through the air. The master shook his head. He snapped his fingers. The master shook his head again. For months, Hakuin tried everything, slapping his hand against the wind, brushing his fingers through water, tapping his palm on the wooden floor. Each time, the master said, "No, that is not it." At first, Hakuin grew frustrated, then exhausted, then hopeless. He wandered through the temple gardens at night, listening to crickets. He sat under tall pines, listening to the wind. He walked along the riverbank, listening to water glide over smooth stones. One night, as he sat quietly outside the temple, moonlight resting on his shoulders, something softened inside him. He stopped searching, stopped striving, stopped trying to force an answer. He simply became still, and in that stillness, he heard it. Not a noise, but a knowing. Not a sound, but a silence so deep it felt like a sound inside the heart. The next morning, he bowed before his master. The master looked into his calm eyes and smiled. "You have heard it," he said. Master's reflection. In our busy, modern world, we want clear answers, quick results, and constant progress. But some truths cannot be forced. Some peace cannot be chased. When we stop trying so hard, the answer often finds us. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, let yourself stop reaching, stop analyzing, stop demanding clarity. Let silence speak its soft wisdom, lesson, insight. Sometimes the deepest answers come only when we stop searching. Zen Story #38. Original story title: The Moon Cannot Be Stolen. Story narration: settle in. Let your breath be slow, like waves gently rolling ashore. This story is one of my favorites, quiet, tender, and filled with moonlight. Long ago, a humble Zen master lived alone in a small wooden hut at the edge of a forest. The hut was simple, barely furnished, but he lived with an open heart and a peaceful spirit. One night, as the master returned from gathering firewood, he found the door of his hut slightly open. Inside stood a thief, thin, trembling, eyes wide with fear. He had hoped to steal something of value, but the hut held nothing. No coins, no jewelry, not even food. The thief looked ashamed. The master, instead of being angry, smiled warmly. "You have come a long way to visit me," he said softly, "and you should not leave empty-handed. Dan, I have a closing. I will just visit to those. Dan kommen, and I weigh." He removed his old robe, thin but clean, and draped it over the thief's shoulders. The thief stood frozen, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness. He fled into the night, still wearing the robe. The master stepped outside and looked up at the sky. The moon hung bright and full above the treetops, lighting the clearing with silver calm. He whispered to the night, "Poor man, if only I could have given him this beautiful moon. Gave him. I have. And there he stood for a long time, wrapped in moonlight, not feeling robbed, but blessed. Master's reflection. In our modern lives, people may take our time, our energy, our peace. Sometimes others misunderstand us, judge us, or act from fear. But even when something is taken, the moon still shines. Your worth is not diminished by what others do. Your inner peace cannot be stolen unless you hand it away. Tonight, as you settle into bed, imagine that soft moonlight shining over your life, untouched, unstealable, always yours. Lesson, insight. What truly matters cannot be taken from you. Your peace is your own moon shining quietly within. As we come to the end of this quiet hour together, just let yourself feel the gentle settling of things, like the soft hush that comes over a river at dusk, when the water stops shimmering and simply is. You've been walking slowly through this inner landscape, touching moments of heaviness, moments of tenderness, moments that felt like standing beneath a wide, star-filled sky. And now you're arriving at the edge of rest, a place where nothing needs to be changed, nothing needs to be solved, and nothing needs to be held together by force. Just breathe, softly, as if the breath is a small candle flame, flickering gently behind cupped hands. All throughout this journey, you've been learning quietly, without effort, how to hold yourself with more kindness, more softness, more understanding, not by pushing anything away, and not by pretending to be above the ache, but by touching your own heart the way moonlight touches water, gently, without pressure. And now, here, in this final stretch of night, you can let those lessons drift into your body, the way warm tides move into a quiet bay, not with urgency, but with the slow, certain rhythm of something older than worry, older than sorrow. Feel the weight of the day sliding off you, like a coat slipping from tired shoulders. Feel your mind loosening, the same way a clenched fist softens when it finally remembers it doesn't need to hold so tight. You've walked through many inner rooms tonight, the room of breath, the room of stillness, the room where old pains echo softly, the room where hope flickers like a lantern in winter wind. And now, one by one, those doors can gently close, not locked, just resting. Let the river inside you settle into its bed. Let the waves of thought soften until they become only ripples, and then only stillness, and then only the quiet wideness beneath everything. If a thought comes, let it float by like a stray leaf carried downstream. If a memory rises, let it pass like a cloud across a sleepy sky. Nothing needs your attention now. Nothing needs your effort. Everything is allowed to drift. Listen to your breath, how it moves like a tide, coming home to shore, in and out, slow and tender, soft as moonlight, resting on the surface of an open lake. You are safe here. You are surrounded by softness, by the quiet presence of the universe, holding you exactly as you are. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing you must become tonight. Just this moment, this breath, this gentle falling into rest. Feel your body become heavier, as if the earth is quietly embracing you, not pulling you down, but welcoming you, the way soft soil welcomes the roots of a new tree. Let that groundedness soothe you. Let it remind you that you belong, fully and without condition. Imagine a candle glowing somewhere inside you, steady and small, not a flame you have to protect, not a flame you have to keep alive, just a quiet glow that has always been there, waiting beneath the noise of life. Let that soft, ancient light warm you. Let it travel through the chest, through the belly, down the arms, down the legs, until even your fingertips feel at peace. And now imagine the night sky opening above you, wide, endless, calm. A sky that asks nothing of you, expects nothing from you, holds everything without effort. Rest beneath that sky. Let it watch over you the way a guardian watches a sleeping child. Silent, patient, always there. You've done enough for one day, more than enough. And now life is inviting you to lay everything down, every burden, every worry, every question without an answer. Just place them gently on the earth beside you. They will wait, they will keep, but you can rest now. Let yourself drift as if you were a small boat carried by a warm, moonlit tide. No destination, no map, only the softness of being carried. With every breath, sink a little deeper into this kindness, into this stillness, into this quiet presence that has been with you from the very first moment of this hour. And now, As sleep comes to meet you, slow and quiet, let yourself fade into the gentle hum of the night. Let the world grow soft around you. Let your thoughts grow light. Let everything fall away until only breath remains, until only peace remains, until only the quiet glow within you fills all the space. Rest now. You are home.